Hi, and welcome to the Zen Supermom podcast. The episode I have for you today is an interview with a mom who reached out to me less than 4 months ago because she wanted help. She wanted to stop barking at her kids and partner. She wanted to stop being the stressed out workaholic, always burning out. And everything she tried before didn't help. Like, no parenting books, support groups, even therapy. All of that just made her feel like there's something so wrong with her that nobody can fix her. As you can imagine, if that was true, we wouldn't be doing an episode together today. So what is it that she did in the last 4 months? How did she manage to turn it around? And how is she reacting today if she's under time pressure? What is she doing differently? So if you want to get some inspiration about what's possible, how you could turn it around, then let's join me inside and let's meet Zuzana. Hear it from her. Hi, Zuzana. Thank you so much for your time and for your courage to be on camera, the guest of the Zen Superman podcast. Thank you.
Hello, you're right.
Hey. So you agreed to be here and to share your story because you are one of our amazing Zen Supermoms who got from yelling into being like perfectly imperfect Zen Supermom. So first of all, thank you so much for your courage. And let's start. I would love to start at the beginning because, like, without putting any dirty laundry on public, share whatever you feel comfortable sharing. But I would like any moms or dads watching and listening, I would like them to understand how actually difficult it was at the beginning and that you had all the reasons to not be a perfect mom. So if you'd introduce yourself from the perspective of like when we met, what were the biggest problems?
So, hi, everybody. My name is Zuzana. I'm 43. I'm a mum of two beautiful little children, a little girl who is just about to turn 5 and a boy who is 8. And yeah, I was a mess. And there are still situations that I am still a mess, but it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be before I started doing my Zen Supermom program. So it used to be just me going from 0 to 100 in every situation. There was no preparation. There was nothing to basically warn anyone that I was about to explode. It was reaction, trigger reaction straight away, and the reaction wasn't pretty. And yeah, I mean, step by step, slowly, I started learning little tools and started learning little nuggets of wisdom from Alana and her team that helped me to have something to reach for and something to apply before I basically just lost it with my children. Before I met Alana, I used to think that my children were somehow here to ruin my life, and I was always a high achiever. I was always super energetic and super focused and just goal orientated, and all of a sudden I had children, and something was pulling me back and something was just holding me back, and I wasn't able to do everything I wanted to do. I always wanted to be the best and achieve the most and be recognized and see everyone to see me as the superwoman. And all of a sudden, after having children, I was just like, what's going on? Why are these two individuals trying to sabotage me and just ruin it all for me? And then I kind of realized the reason why I reached out to Alana and her team was because I realized that something's going to have to give. I'm either going to have to change. I'm going to either have to let some of the things go, because as a mum, I realized that the most important thing for me is my kids. The career, the goals, the achievements, they will still be there. They will wait for me when I'm ready. But I cannot carry on working as hard as I was and being as ruthless and as focused as I was having two children, because ultimately they were the one paying the price. So yeah, here I am, imperfectly perfect, still trying to do my thing, but putting my children first, my career second, and yeah, so far so good.
And hearing that from somebody with a hyperachiever, like trauma coping mechanism, which you just described, and this is exactly like I'm raising my hand, this is exactly what I was before I started my journey. That comes as a big win. Like you being able to say without any resentment, like the order of your priorities and still being happy about it. This is like from the perspective of how I see it, this is one of your biggest wins, life changing, life altering. Nothing else changed, but your own path and your own healing just like made all of this possible now. So let's detangle that. I loved it how openly, and thank you for sharing that so openly, like all the ugly parts of it as well that we often so feel like, from my perspective as well, like I would feel ashamed to talk about it years ago. So thank you for putting it out there, because that will give a permission to all of the moms who are listening us just to admit it, like, yeah, that's what it is. And you're not the only one if you're watching now or listening. So I also know, and I have here my notes from your assessment call a few months ago. I also know that you already tried some things before we met. You tried to get help. This was not your first attempt at getting help. And I think it's important to mention that what you tried, what of it helped, and why you think it didn't help you all the way. Because there are lots of moms who are already realizing, yes, it's about the kids, but it's also about me. And they are trying to do all kinds of therapies and reading parenting books and doing parenting courses, and they are feeling stuck. So what was your personal experience in like trying to find a way?
All of the above, what you said, was my personal experience. I like tried everything. There was always this feeling that something is fundamentally wrong with me and I just need to fix it. I was constantly reading self-help books. I mean, I've done seminars, I've done things online, I've done paid therapy, I've done or going into support groups and sort of like seeking help from other struggling parents, and yes, books and magazines, anything and everything I've tried. I'm a personal trainer, so I thought if I only just eat really clean, if I really fix my nutrition, and if I really stop like drinking alcohol, and if I just have really clear head, everything will be fine. I will be calm, everything will be better. And I'm doing all these things and things are still the same. And I just thought, how is this possible? I mean, there is nothing else I can do. There can't possibly be anything else. That
Mm.
and yeah, then I came across with your video on Facebook about the shouting. Nobody ever talked about why I shout. I wanted to stop shouting and I wanted to stop going from 0 to 200 and just lashing out. But nobody really nailed it the way you did, because nobody really talked about the cause. Everybody was always giving me patches to patch up the symptoms, but nobody really explained why I'm doing what I'm doing. I always used to think that that's just me. It's just, in my nature. I am originally from Central Europe and Eastern Europe, and that was just the way we were. That's how I was raised. If I did something wrong, I got shouted at, or if I did something wrong, I got smacked bum. And it was just, yeah, it was okay. It was normal. It was acceptable. So I just accepted, or I just kind of believed that that was just me and that was in my nature, and there was nothing I was going to be able to do to fix it. But yeah, reading, I mean, I had quite a bit of awareness of behavior and behavioral changes, and I understand the chronology of change and how to go about it, but I just couldn't get to the cause of where it was all coming from and why I was doing what I was doing until I sort of started doing your program.
So the next question is coming up logically to mind, to the extent that you're comfortable sharing. What was the cause of your yelling, and how you called it even yourself, like barking?
Mm. Just unloved inner child. I come from a difficult background, and there was a lot of alcohol and a lot of violence in my childhood, and there was no attention. I mean, my parents raised me. My parents did the basics. I was fed, I was watered, but there was never talk about my feelings or supporting me emotionally. They were not present enough to support me emotionally. So there was this void inside of me that wasn't met when I was a kid, and I dragged that baggage into my adulthood with me. And it wasn't until I understood that it was me having to go back and just rebuilding the relationship with my younger self and with my inner child that was going to help it. All that little girl wanted was just nurturing and being heard and being understood and being recognized and being seen and listened to. And that never happened when I was a kid. So understandably, I lacked it when as an adult, and it was me going back and just revisiting the little girl and just rebuilding that relationship is what really started making a big difference.
Yeah. And that's why even before you had kids, you were using hyperachieving as a way of coping so that you make yourself at least a little bit better, at least a little bit like good enough. And then when the kids came, you were no longer able to keep up with that hyperachiever standard. And that's when it all crashed and burned. Yeah. Because they reminded you, they triggered all of that not good enoughness and not loved in you because nothing you could ever do was enough for them.
And it really, I mean, I still have that feeling of not good enough. It's just sometimes I look at other mums and I just think, how can she do it? How can she look so good? How can she be so calm with her children on surface? And how can she still be a CEO of a company? I mean, how? I must be such a failure. This is just impossible. I mean, how can somebody do it? First of all, I understand that nothing is ever what it seems. And second of all, I understand that we all have our own struggles. We all have our own battles to fight. And I understand that it's hard work, you know. And if somebody, and I really hope that when I see a mum who is calm and who is well put together and everything, that it is the real reflection of what's going on, because I believe now that it can be done. And it's hard work. It's a daily application of new habits and new ways of dealing with difficult situations. But yeah, I hope that, you know, that when I see somebody in a playground and they seem so together, that they're not on some sort of happy pills and just pretend.
And that the hell breaks loose at home when nobody sees them. Yeah. But what I'm hearing also underneath what you're sharing is that you not only manage to heal the hyperachiever trauma, but also the judge, the inner critic, because you're cutting yourself some slack by realizing it's okay to not be perfect, which is another very common coping, like trauma coping mechanism from childhood that many of us have, which is like the perfectionist standard. It's like I always have to be 100% calm. I can never shout. I can never stress out, and holding yourself to the standard of looking beautiful and managing the kids in a wonderful, calm way and running a business and everything all together at the same time. And expecting that to be the standard on a pedestal and never doing less than 100%. So I love hearing that you're cutting yourself some slack and realizing like 100% is not actually a realistic standard, not for anybody. Yes, improvements is very much possible, and you're living proof of that. Yeah. So this is where you came from. So there was this hyperachiever, stressed out, a lot of pressure, coming all of that coming back from your childhood, trying so many things, trying to get all the help until finally you started healing that little part of you that was causing all of this mayhem and mess. So I would be curious, because you keep mentioning it's a hard work, and yet you're a mom of two, you're running your own business, you're a partner, like you're in a relationship, and so you were still able to keep doing all of these things. So how did you make it work? Because this is one of the biggest fears that many women who meet me, they're worried, like, I don't have time for that. I'm just like too busy. I'm already burned out. I don't have time to read thousands of books and watch hundreds of hours of videos and doing some course because I'm just too busy for that. So how did that go for you?
So this is where my own business and my own career has helped, you know, that I understood that it's the daily small habits that we do that add up to the overall big difference. Yeah, I mean, it's overwhelming when you're struggling, when you're in the deep of it. You don't see a way out, and you look at the final result, or when you look at the end goal. For example, I can relate to it from the health perspective. When somebody approaches me and wants to lose weight, if they come to me and say, I need to lose 5 stone, that's not a realistic goal, or that's not a smart goal to set. You need to look at the next step. What is it that I can do today? What's that one small little nugget? How can I make today better? And then I believe in developing habits and doing something once a day. Even, I mean, I don't know whether you want me to speak about the part of the program, but I'll mention it. The little PQ reps. It can be 10 seconds. It can be 20 seconds. It can be 30 seconds a day, and that's manageable. If you don't have 30 seconds in your day, then you don't have a life, and it can feel really really overwhelming at the beginning, but it's the little things that we do compound that make a big difference. So anyone and everyone can fit it into their busy life.
Beautiful. Thank you. Indeed. Yeah. I wanted them to hear it from somebody else's mouth else than mine, because this is the proof we need from a working mom of 2 kids, exactly, like super busy, and you made it work, you made it part of your day, few seconds at a time, and that's it, the compound effect. And that's what then helps you not lose faith, because it's still a roller coaster ride, right? And I'll be curious like how it went for you throughout the first like 2-3 months. But it is, for most of the clients, it is a roller coaster, but this is what keeps your head above the water. The compound effect, you will never go back. That's the guarantee, that you can never suddenly like forget about everything and go all the way back to where you were. That compound effect, few seconds a day, actually keeps you above the water, and you just keep going and keep getting better from there. So what was your experience? I'm curious. Like, did you have it, like, did you have any road bumps and parts of the time when you felt like I'm going to run away?
I because of the way I operate, I signed up to the program and I wanted to be fixed. I mean, because I want a quick fix and I want it now. I'm too busy to be doing this for months or for years. I'm too busy for therapy sessions. I'm too busy to doing stuff every day. It's just too much. Now I've signed up, I've paid the money, fix me now. And then I realized that it's not going to be like that. Obviously, then I'm going to have to put the work, and I'm going to have to do it every day. And what I would reiterate at this point is that it works if you work it. I think that's the way I would describe it. I would have weeks when I would be on it. I would be doing my PQ reps every day. I would be doing all the mental fitness program. I would be reading something every day. Just like I said, I don't have hours to be able to spend on something, but it would be 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, and I would be I just felt such part of it, and I was doing it daily, and it really felt like I had a handle on it. I had a handle on everything. It became part of my life. I made it a routine, and it was working. And then we had a bit of a holiday. We went away for Christmas, and things slipped, and I started feeling it, and I started noticing it, because it wasn't part of my daily routine. The whole family, the whole routine changed, so things started slipping. And I could really tell the way I was handling myself, the way I was handling situations with my partner and with my children. It was really really noticeable. So yeah, it works if you work it, and it doesn't have to be a lot. It's the little changes. I can't reinforce that and stress that enough. How just a little a day can help. Like they say, if you save £8 or $8 a day, you can save $3,000 a year. And this is exactly like that. If you wanna find a way to deal with your children and be there for them, have empathy for them, be present, and be imperfectly perfect mum, then it's the daily savings and the daily applications that will make a difference.
Love it. So could you give some example how Let me rephrase. Like, what's the situation that you're the most proud of where before you would have totally lost it, you would have barked or catastrophized over something, totally burned out, stressed out, like terrible disaster, and now you're able to, like, what do you do now in these situations? How does it look like now at your home?
I think differently. The biggest takeaway from this program is empathy. I never had empathy for people. I never had empathy for weakness. I never had empathy for slowness. I never had empathy for someone not working at my expected standard. What's wrong with you? Why are you not doing it? Why are you not achieving it the way I need you to? So I would write people off, or I would just basically get stressed with my children. Why are you not reading? You're four. What do you mean you're not reading? And just have unrealistic expectations. Where now I just see things for what they are. I see my children for the age they are, and I see my children, for the abilities they have at this age, and I just have so much empathy, so much more empathy. And I see what they just want to be children. They don't care that I need to be at an appointment, or that I'm going to be late for a gym session with someone, or I'm going to be late for a class. To them, they just want mummy. If my little girl has a tantrum in the middle of the supermarket and starts throwing herself on the floor and starts throwing things around, my first reaction before the program would probably be grabbing her hand, pulling her right next to my leg, and telling her off and being really horrible. Where now, what is it that she's so upset about? Okay, it might be that she wants a chocolate bar, but what is the real cause? Why is she losing it like that? Empathize. So first we go for cuddles. If somebody has a tantrum, if somebody's lashing out and has an anger outburst, let's have a cuddle. Let's just see what is it that is really going on. And then, first of all, scientifically and physiologically, it calms the nervous system down. And when you're calm, you're able to deal with the situation much better. You see the what's the word I'm looking for? You see the way out. If you're angry, if you're lashing out, if you're stressed and having a tantrum, you will see red. You won't see a way out. So let's calm everyone down and let's take it from there.
And this is beautiful that you're mentioning it because it's a question I get very often in the mommy tantrum trainings where women meet me the first time. And I'm trying to explain this. Like, it's normal that you cannot see how to make your kids listen more or have less tantrums, because right now it's all about you, and your trauma jumps in the middle, like your own anger and inability to handle your own emotions. And they ask me often, like, okay, great, but like I ask 10 times nicely before I yell. They are still not listening. How are you telling me that after I do mental fitness and this like childhood healing, I will be suddenly able to see everything, like how to help my kids? How is that possible? Which is why what you're saying right now is exactly that. So did you become currently like some parenting expert because you read on some extra parenting hacks or tricks or stuff?
No, absolutely not. And it was in my house as well, but we have started introducing natural consequences. There is no need to go to 10 repetitions. There is no need. They need to know. My children now know a cutoff point. My partner is really supportive in this. He's got a great way of dealing with it, and he's a police officer, so he believes in consequences. He believes in consequences, and we are trying to really install this in our children. It's your choice. If you choose not to do your teeth, if you choose not to do your bedtime routine, it's your choice. But tomorrow, I'm canceling the play date. It's a bit of a mind game, and kids are clever, and they will try to negotiate their way out of everything. But there needs to be boundaries. They need to know where you stand, and you need to be consistent with it. It's if mommy said 3 times and that's a cutoff point, then it will be 3 times today, tomorrow, and the day after. It's not 3 times today and tomorrow we'll push it to 10. No, they need to know where the boundary is. And always, not always for in a perfect world, but in an imperfect world, it works 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10. The biggest takeaway, as I said, from the program is empathy. Respect your kids and they will respect you back. If they feel disrespected, if they feel unheard and not listened to, then they will play up and they will disrespect you back. Empathy and respect, and yeah, I mean, lots of patience and lots of consistency.
I love it. Next hard question. How do you do it in a time pressure? All of this. When you don't have time, you are already running late, or you will soon be late if you don't move fast. How do you still have the empathy and the time to find the right way and to implement the consequences when there's time pressure?
This is where I really had to work on my perfectionist. And I've learned through the program that there is no such a thing as perfectionism. I think I've heard, it might have been you or one of your team say perfection is actually the lowest of the standards,
Yes.
because it's unattainable. The perfection is unattainable, so it's the lowest standard. And I do cut myself a bit of slack. I do recognize situations for what they are. Okay, so I'm going to be late. Is that the end of the world? Is somebody going to die? No. Is what if my children don't get to a activity after school, or what if they are late for school? It's not something we do every day. If it gets to the point when we are late every day, then there is an issue and we need to address it. But every now and then, so we are late, we will come to the teacher or we will come to the reception and we will say we are sorry because we were late. Things happen. There are mornings that look a little bit more stressful than others. People are tired, people have not had good sleep, or they might be under the weather. It's again empathy, respect, and recognizing the situation for what it is, and not trying to be perfect, and not trying to worry what people are going to think as well.
Love it. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how a real life Zen Superman looks like. And this is what her energy is. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Zuzana. Any last sharing, anything that you feel like, and I don't want to sell you the program or anything. This is not your job here in this podcast. You're here to help moms understand they are not alone struggling and that there is actually a way that works.
Mm.
I would be interested in your final words about anything that I didn't ask you about and you feel it's important to share. Anything that you feel like you could have benefited from at the beginning, that it could have made it easier or faster somehow for you. Does anything comes to mind? I'm putting you on the spot now. I didn't prepare, by the way, any questions in advance. I didn't share any script with her, so I'm totally putting her on the spot.
Anything that I would change in the program that I would have, sorry,
You can mention that as well if something comes to mind.
not sure if I'm understanding the question
The
correctly.
question was what you would want to share with moms who are listening to you, who might be right now at the same place where you were a few months ago. What is it that you would have wanted to hear back then?
Mm. I was very skeptical before I started the program. Very skeptical, feeling that I've tried everything and nothing has worked. And I think I would encourage anyone and everyone to do this program, and purely because you learn things that you have never learned anywhere else. You will learn about yourself, and you will learn about empathy, and you will learn about understanding your children, and you will no longer look at your children as this ungrateful little monkeys that don't know how hard you work and how much you do for them and how much you put on hold just for them to be taken care of. You will see them as this beautiful blessing that you've been given in this world, and it's a gift that you are able to take care of if you've got the right tools, and you will learn the tools in the program, and your whole life will change, and the way you look at your kids, your partner, and the whole world. You will have more respect and empathy, not just for your children, your partner, and yourself, but the world around you too. We are all here just to survive, and we are all trying our best, and learning the things that I've learned in the program is just making the journey a little bit easier.
So beautiful. Thank you so much, Zuzana. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. You and your team have made a big difference in my life. So thank you.
You're the one who did the work. So, and thank you for your courage and open sharing here to inspire any moms who just like had to listen to this today. That some kind of coincidence brought them exactly to this moment, and you just said the exact right thing they had to hear. So, thank you for that.
Welcome. I believe that things happen for a reason. We were meant to meet, and I was meant to do this program. And the best investment you'll ever make is investment in yourself. And if you're good and if you take care of you, then the whole world will be better.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Zuzana. All the best to you and your family.
Thank you. All the best to you and your team as well.
Yeah. See you, everybody, in the next episode.
Take care.
Why can't you stop yelling at your kids? And no, it's not the stress, lack of sleep, kids not listening, fighting, hitting, no support, time pressure, ADHD, hormones. No, moms around the world are doing it regardless. How? Join us for the upcoming Mommy Tantrum training and find out too.